What if I told you that pretty much all the financial advice you've ever heard is actually, well, keeping you from getting rich? Today, we're going to flip that entire script on its head. We're diving into 4 powerful contradictions that sound completely backwards, but are the exact rules the wealthy play by to build their fortunes.
I mean, really let that sink in for a second. We're all taught to play it safe, right? To avoid risk no matter what. But what if that very mindset, that need for safety, is the cage that keeps most people from ever finding real financial freedom? That's the big idea we're going to unpack right now. Okay, so it all starts with understanding something called the 90-10 rule. It's a pretty simple observation, really. 10% of people hold about 90% of all the money. Now, this isn't about being judgmental, it's just a pattern. The real question is, why? What in the world does that 10% know, or maybe more importantly, what do they see that the other 90% is missing?
The answer isn't some secret, complicated formula. It's all about a shift in perspective. You see, the wealthy have learned to see both sides of the financial coin, while most of us are trained to only ever look at one. And as you're about to find out, it's the side you don't see that makes all the difference in the world.
So, our very first contradiction, it tackles something we're all taught to be afraid of, a word that makes most people just kind of clench up: debt.
The average person, they see all debt as this horrible thing, and their main goal is to be debt-free. But the rich investor, they're actively looking for more debt. And here's the twist. It's all about understanding the difference between bad debt, like those high-interest credit cards you use for stuff that loses value, and good debt. Good debt is when you borrow money to buy something that makes you money. Think about it. Using a bank's loan to buy a rental property, the tenant's rent pays the mortgage and puts extra cash in your pocket every single month. That's literally using other people's money to get richer.
All right, this next one is going to sound absolutely insane to most people. How could anyone possibly love a market crash? For the average investor, a crash is just pure, unfiltered panic. The news is a tidal wave of doom and gloom, portfolios are bleeding red ink, and your gut reaction is just screaming, sell everything to make the pain stop. It's a decision that's driven 100% by the fear of losing it all. But here it is, the other side of that coin. The rich investor doesn't see a crisis. They see a massive sale. It's like a Black Friday for assets. While everybody else is panic selling, they are calmly buying up valuable companies, stocks, and properties at a huge discount because they know that markets, historically, always recover. They see incredible bargains where everyone else only sees bankruptcy. Okay, our third contradiction. This one challenges the entire idea of a safe career path and that lifelong quest for job security.
Now, this is a really powerful concept. The relentless chase for a safe, secure job can actually lead you to a life of scarcity. But why? Well, because it makes you totally dependent on one single source of income. It limits your financial potential to whatever your boss decides you're worth. And if that one source vanishes, poof, so does all your security.
So here's the big shift in focus. Instead of looking for a company to give them security, the wealthy focus on building their own. They do it through financial skills and financial literacy. Real security isn't a job title, it's knowing how to create value, how to read a financial statement, how to build assets. That is a skill set that no layoff can ever take away from you.
In our final contradiction, this might be the most important one of all, because it completely redefines our relationship with failure. From the time we're little kids, we're taught that making mistakes is bad. It gets you a bad grade in school, it gets you a bad review at work. But the world's greatest entrepreneurs? They see it completely differently. Thomas Edison didn't have 10,000 failures. No way. He successfully found 10,000 ways that didn't work, and every single one was a piece of essential data that got him one step closer to the one way that did.
Just think about learning to ride a bike. You fall, you get scraped up, you make mistakes over and over and over. But with every single fall, you learn something. You adjust, and you get a little bit better. Then, all of a sudden, it just clicks, and you're flying. The wealthy get this on a deep level. Mistakes aren't the opposite of success. They are the mandatory, tuition-free highway to success.
So, what do all these 4 contradictions about debt, about crashes, security, and mistakes, what do they all have in common? Well, they all point to one single, powerful master principle.
It's the difference between being a fan sitting in the stands and being the person who owns the entire stadium. The average investor is a consumer of financial products. They're the ones who buy the tickets to the game.
But the rich investor, the inside investor, is the one who builds the systems that sell the tickets. They don't just play the game, they own it.
And it all comes down to one word: control. It's about controlling your education so you're always learning and you're never obsolete. It's controlling your emotions so you buy when others are terrified, not when they're greedy. It's taking control of your income, your expenses, your assets, and yeah, even your taxes, just by understanding the rules. The more control you have, the less risky the world actually is, and the faster your wealth can grow.
So the big takeaway here is that building wealth isn't really about what you do with your money, it's all about how you think about money. It's about having the courage to stop and look at the other side of the coin. So the only question left is, which side will you choose?